Sports Scene, Hampton Road's premier interview show with Greg Bicouvaris, each Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11.
And you look at that, 4-4 at home, which is just average, 4-3-1 on the road. I mean, you're not going to win any games like that. They were not the same team after they beat the Packers, yet the Packers were a totally different team.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic and listen weekly as Greg interviews distinguished guests with excellent commentary and insight. Sports Scene, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM.
Mark your calendar for October 18th through the 20th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church presents the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition, an indoor event inside the Hellenic Center. Enjoy Greek food, beverages, desserts, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. Located on 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on I-64 with free admission and parking. Log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you October 18th through 20th for the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition.
Opa! From Chesapeake, Virginia, the Lighthouse 100.1 presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
Sports Scene, midweek online, Saturday on the radio from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on 100.1 FM, 1010 a.m. TuneIn.com, type in WPMH in the search bar to listen at Saturday at 10. Greg Bicouvaris along with Joe Daniel, right here on the Lighthouse. Happy Labor Day weekend. Please be safe. Sports Scene is an interview show. Also watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Tell your friends about gjbtv.com and click the YouTube link on the homepage for archived audio and video. Twitter @GregBic and GJB Radio. And you can see the rest of my Twitter handles by going to gjbtv.com to the contact section. Thank you to our military. Guest lineup presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville, now delivering. Sponsors on gjbtv.com, marketplace sponsors, and Hampton Roads, onlinemall.com. Phone line presented by Mikasita. Shows presented by hrsmhof.com. My advice for the weekend, go swimming, go to the pool, go to the beach, and fish. Great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene weekly, and we love our regulars, newcomers, and tourists. Stay tuned.
Are you a Christian business owner or an aspiring Christian entrepreneur? Do you want to transform the marketplace in your community? Then it's time for you to discover B2B groups. Small group Bible studies that meet regularly to study what the Word of God says about business and to encourage one another with God's powerful wisdom for our lives and businesses. To learn more about joining or starting a group, visit blessed2bless.net. That's blessed, the numeral 2, bless.net.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, I want to thank our good friends from Sakura Japanese Restaurant. Go by and see Jasmine and the wonderful staff. They deliver also through Order Up. Go to 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake. Give them a call at 410-4577 for delicious Japanese food right there in Chesapeake at Sakura Japanese Restaurant. You'll be glad you did. Excellent sushi, all you can eat. It's a pleasure to welcome former Kempsville, former Penn State, former Viking, and former Met to Virginia Beach and the radio. Let's welcome DJ Dozier. DJ, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Greg. How are you doing this morning?
Very good, very good. What are you up to? I know you've had a storied career. Tell us about your timeline from Kempsville to Penn State and talk about what you did after that.
Well, speaking of Kempsville, we just had our reunion just a few weeks ago, 35 years. So it's been that long. Certainly, 35 years, you can accomplish a lot. I was fortunate enough to leave Kempsville High School and my good buddies and head to Pennsylvania and play for a pretty good coach up there, Paterno, and the Penn State nation up there. It was a tremendous experience. Wouldn't change it for anything. The things that I learned, I mean, the lessons learned were incredible there, and really not just on the field, but off the field as well. Of course, being part of a team that eventually won the championship was an amazing accomplishment because many of us came in '83 right after Penn State had just won the championship in '82. And so, of course, as freshmen coming in, we expected that, we would do likewise, would be a part of not just part of a tradition, but we would have our own say in terms of winning the championship. Didn't start out that way. So in '83, we went through some valleys. And matter of fact, I think back then that was the worst start of a fraternal team in his history. We went 0-3, so we lost our first 3 games. But of course, we recovered. And as a young team, we had to learn. When I say young team, what I mean is a lot of the players that played a lot or started as freshmen and sophomores, were on the field. So we had to learn on the field, and eventually we became juniors and seniors. And that was back in '85 when we played Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl for the national championship. Ended up losing. But eventually in '86, we pulled out the championship against Miami. And, of course, what an incredible game that was. I think people still remember. Whether you were a Penn State fan or not, you remember that game, or at least I talked to a lot of folks that have remembered that game, even though it was 30-plus years ago.
So much about So much about Joe was consistency. And, you talk about that '83 team, but going back to that for a second, they still had a lot of players left over from the '82 team as well. That must have helped as the year went on.
And without a doubt. Leadership is key in any organization, certainly on a football team. And so those juniors and seniors that came back actually helped pave a way, at least, when we started the season off 0-3, it's leadership, not just Joe, but also the older players that were needed to get us through that season. Ironically, we only lost one more game after that. And so we ended up having a pretty good season. And without a doubt, it was the leadership among the players that helped us to get through that.
Mm-hmm. Talking to DJ Dozier, Coach was always very consistent in everything he did. Was it like that on the road as well? The uniforms were always the same. I remember Spider, his manager, went up to him the last few years of his coaching life and said, "We got that blue V-neck on our shirts." And Joe basically said, "Let's go back to what we used to do." But it's always been conservative. Has that always been the trademark of Joe?
Without a doubt. He Mr. Conservative, without a doubt. And I remember part of that story, and there were some other stories. We wanted to wear some. You said, "Look, if we're going to be, plain, let's at least have some shiny front with our pants." When most other teams had the shiny fronts, so we said, "Can we at least have this?" And so for a year, we had them. And I think Joe came in the next year and switched back.
Yeah,
because he wanted to go back to being, a conservative-looking team and just go out there and play football. But without a doubt, he stayed conservative. His philosophy was a life philosophy, meaning, whether it was football, whether it was in life, whether it was being on time. I actually witnessed Paterno kicking a senior captain off the plane because he was late. And the guy, we were actually flying from, I believe it was State College or Harrisburg to the Meadowlands, Jersey. And so, actually not flying to the Meadowlands, but we were flying into Jersey, probably Newark. And so Joe kicked this gentleman off the plane, and, the player says, "Well, how am I going to get there?" And Joe said, "I don't care.
Wow.
I don't care if you don't play. I don't care if you don't show up." And so that was, he was very consistent with his philosophy, the training, and of course the uniforms were a big part of that.
Talking to DJ Dozier, former Kempsville great, played at Penn State, played for the Vikings, played for the Mets. And, of course, we'll talk more about Joe next week and talk about, the trials and tribulations he faced. But, he was very loyal to his assistants. One of them was well before you got there, George Welsh, the former Virginia coach, who, of course, he spoke highly of him. He was with Joe for several years.
Yes, I had a chance to meet Coach George. Of course, I was being recruited by UVA, and I met him later after my career was over. And certainly, I think like most folks, that have gone through Penn State and worked under Joe say the same thing. I think, just like you mentioned earlier about consistency, you're definitely going to get that from Paterno, or got that from Paterno. And, George is, I don't remember how many years he coached under Joe, but I know he spoke very highly of Paterno throughout his career.
Right, for several years he did. Of course, he went on to Navy, and then, of course, Virginia. Talking to DJ Dozier, how did you go from football to baseball? That's very difficult. You saw a lot of that in high school. You don't see it as much anymore. You see a little bit of that in college. Terry Kirby played a couple sports at Virginia, and, of course, Bo Jackson played for the Raiders and the Royals. How did you do it?
Great question. Baseball and football were not necessarily one and the same. I love football a little more. But I loved baseball as well growing up. And, originally what a lot of folks may not know is that when I was coming out of high school, I did end up getting drafted. But when I decided to go to Penn State, my deal with Paterno was I couldn't play baseball in my freshman year, but I could play after my sophomore year of football. So the original plan was that I was going to play both football and baseball at Penn State. And after my sophomore football season, I ended up getting arthroscopic surgery. So rather than play baseball, I just worked on my rehab. And then after that was my junior year of football. So after that year, I decided I wanted to get ready for my senior year of football. So as it turned out, I never did play baseball at Penn State in college. And so I remember sitting in the stadium, the Metrodome, watching the World Series in my rookie year at Minnesota with the Vikings. And so I'm watching the World Series, and it just hit me that, not only I love the game, but, I think I can do this. And it was 2 years later that I actually began to pursue baseball, and the Mets were gracious enough to give me an opportunity. And Joe McIlvaney, who actually scouted me when I was in high school, was one of the minor league executives at the time, and when he heard that I was interested, he jumped on it, and before I knew it, I was in Florida trying out.
Yeah, we had Joe McIlvaney on the show a few times, of course, the former general manager of the Mets, and of course he was involved with the Padres too. Really storied career as well, so that must have been quite a treat to play both. Even though you didn't play baseball for a lot of years, you still played.
I did. It was a treat. It was, Greg, it was a gift, really, for a guy like me that had, I didn't necessarily walk away from the game. It sort of just happened that I ended up not playing in college. And so that love of the game and thrill of playing was still there. So to be able to stay away from it or be away from it for 6-7 years and then have an opportunity to play again was an absolute gift. Matter of fact, I remember my first game, or at least before my first official game, with the Mets single A team in St. Lucie. I remember almost feeling like I should kiss the ground because, no matter what happened after that point, it was a gift for me to be there. And that's the way I played every day. I loved it. Of course, playing every day in baseball, you get tired, but I really had a great time. And I was out there to, not just obviously have a great time, but to prove that I could play the game and make a difference on each team that I played for.
We're talking to DJ Dozier, also has a September birthday like myself, went to Kempsville, went to Penn State. The good thing about you playing for the Mets, you played very briefly, but it was after your Vikings and Lions career. You played for the Vikings for 4 years and the Lions for the 91 season, and you played a little bit of 92 for the Mets. At least you had a taste of it, and it wasn't interfering with football. I guess that's a good thing.
Well, it really is. To play both sports, especially from a weight training perspective, is really tough. Now, I remember back in 91, 92 with the Mets that, this was the years, at least from what I recall, when weights were becoming more acceptable in baseball. But prior to that, it was not. So, from a weight training standpoint and doing both sports, it really is a contradictory type situation. So very, very tough to play baseball and football, at least from a training perspective. That's why when you look at a guy like Bo Jackson and certainly Dion, it's just phenomenal what those guys were able to do in both arenas.
Very nice. Talking to DJ Dozier. DJ, give us a final word of advice for the young kids that want to play football this fall. It's never easy. You're going to have trials and tribulations in high school, college, and the NFL. Nothing's guaranteed. You know, you see some players like Tom Brady that play forever, or Dan Marino, you know, or some guys that just play for 1 or 2 years and just get burned out. I guess the concussions are a big deal as well, because back when you were playing, at least at Penn State, I mean, a lot of times if you could walk, you could still play.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's definitely a different landscape today. They're much more protective of the players. You know, fortunately, I didn't have to deal with concussions when I was, at least not when I was younger, not until I got to high school that I started dealing with it. But it's a real situation. I mean, the best advice I can give young guys, I mean, it's a tough game. I mean, and it has some, you know, some areas where there could be some longevity in terms of things going wrong with your body. There's no doubt about it. But if you love the game, then at least, you know, be safe out there, have fun. And hopefully you have a good coaching staff that teaches you the right way to tackle, the right way to hold the ball or run the ball, you know, not sticking your head in there and you know, putting yourself in a situation where you're more likely to be injured. But go out there and have fun. And remember, it is a game. But play and work hard. You know, one of the things I've told, I said at TJ Morgan's place, Morgan Wellness Center, was that, you know, because he has young people come out every week. And, you know, I tell the kids, I said, look, you own the effort. The results, they will be what they be. But if you go out there and work hard, you'll see some great results. You just won't be able to control.
Very good, DJ. We'll see you in the studio here next week. Thank you for giving us a little appetizer for the interview next week. We'll talk more in depth about Penn State, more about the Vikings, your years there, as well as the Lions and the Mets and your post-career as well. DJ, thank you for your time, your talent, and your treasure. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you, Greg, and look forward to it as well.
Thank you, my friend. I want to thank our good friends at Barrel 17 at 1706 Mediterranean Avenue, Virginia Beach. Go by and see Jamie and Chris. Get some great appetizers, burgers, cheesesteak, fish sandwich, Carolina snap dogs, chicken sandwiches, salads, vegan burgers, great appetizers, house-cut fries, beer-battered onion rings, desserts, adult beverages at Barrel 17. I like them on Facebook, 1706 Mediterranean Avenue in Virginia Beach. Get a great meal, watch some TV, lunch, dinner at Barrel 17.
Mark your calendar for October 18th through the 20th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church presents the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition, an indoor event inside the Hellenic Center. Enjoy Greek food, beverages, desserts, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. Located on 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on I-64 with free admission and parking. Log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you October 18th through 20th for the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition.
Opa! The best guests appear here on Sports Scene. Now back to Greg in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studios.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene. Our condolences to the late Senator John McCain, who passed away. May his memory be eternal. What a true great life he had. Let's welcome our weekly regular segment with the Norfolk Tide's Ian Locke. We look forward to doing this again in 2019. 2 years in a row, Ian. You'll be back with us again next week, and hopefully a bit longer if the team makes the postseason.
Yeah, hopefully, Greg, we can continue this late push here and make the postseason. So we had our last regular season home game on August 27th on Monday, and hopefully that's not our last home game this year at Harbor Park. We really want to make the postseason. Well,
let's talk about the postseason possibilities.
So the Tides, we have 7.5 games left. Our last home game was suspended. We had a 0% chance of rain all day. It was a great day, gorgeous day, big crowd, and just as the theme of the season has been, a pop-up thunderstorm came out of nowhere and really just heavy downpours, and we struggled to get the tarp on a little bit, and because it's raining so much, and we ended up suspending our game. So we have to finish that game, which is tied 1-1 in the sixth inning. We're going to make that up in Durham on August 31st, and then play that as part of a doubleheader. So 7 more road games to go. The Tides probably are done in the division chase. We're 5.5 games back at Durham with 7 to play, so we're not mathematically eliminated, but not looking good in that regard. But the wild card standings, which is basically the best second place team in the International League, and the Tides are right in the thick of it, a game and a half out with 7 to play. So plenty of chances. 5-2. Record 6-1 down the stretch, and we're probably making the postseason. So it's gonna be weird to be watching from afar, but we're rooting for the Tides when they're down in Gwinnett, Georgia, and then in Durham to wrap up the season.
You talk about that as well, too. It seems like there's an expression, you've been ghosted. It seems like the rain has ghosted you guys all year long this year.
Yeah, I looked up, yesterday, actually, because it was our home finale, kind of looked up some of the rain stuff just from the season, and not anticipating that it was going to rain last night, but it's kind of hard to believe. We had 17 different home games this year where we had either postponement or a rain delay. So that's a large chunk of our schedule, and I think 4 or 5 of those were on Saturday nights, which are our biggest crowds of the year. And I also looked up the rainfall amounts at Norfolk International Airport this year and kind of matched up when we had home games. And we have 70 home dates for our season this year, and on 32 of those days it rained at the airport. So that's almost 50% of our days we had rain this year. So and that's one of those things where it rains in the morning. It doesn't necessarily affect the game at night, but it kind of gets that mindset in people's heads that maybe I don't want to go to a game tonight if it's raining. So rain is bad, and we're hopeful that we don't have to touch the tarp as much next year, because this year was brutal in that regard.
Yeah, because you guys saw it all. You saw a sunny day turn into rain, or a day that was rainy then turn into sun, or you start a game like you did on Monday night, then it gets postponed to rain, then you got to finish it on the road.
Yep, and we've had a bunch of issues on the road as well, rain wise. I mean, it's just this summer and spring have definitely been more rain than I can ever remember, and it's frustrating for the fans. It's frustrating for the front office here too. I mean, we put together a lot of stuff to last night. Hey, it's a big final night of the year. Shoot fireworks off, and then we get a freak thunderstorm or something that pops up and just kind of ruins it a little bit. And we had a 50-cent hot dog night last week, and we ended up having to play a doubleheader that didn't start till 8:45 p.m. Due to a 3.5-hour rain delay. But it's the end of the season. We try to get our games in as much as we can, so we didn't start a game till game 1 of that doubleheader till 8:45, and game 2 started at about 11:30 at night and ended just before 2 a.m. So we got the games in, so those are that's great, but that's obviously not ideal circumstances to be playing baseball at 1:50 in the morning on a Tuesday night, when we should be hopefully out of here by 9:30, when fans can get to bed at a reasonable hour and enjoy a night out. So the weather's messed with us this year, but still a pretty successful season, all things considered.
Yeah, I think we kind of jinxed you because we talked about that on the radio show last week. I asked you personally, how long is a typical day for a doubleheader or even a game? And sure enough, I mean, that ghosted you as well. Yeah,
I mean, we had that day at 9:30 a.m. I think we were all in here approximate. Sometimes I'm a little late when it comes to that, but our first pitch of our doubleheader was supposed to be at 5:05 and didn't end up till 8:45. So we had a 3-hour and 40-minute delay. Game, like I said, game 2 ended at 1:56 a.m. There was probably 75 people still at the park. I mean, it was a cool environment because it's almost 2 a.m. on a Tuesday and people are watching ball games. But I didn't leave here till 3-ish, 3 a.m. kind of thing. And then the hard thing is we had a doubleheader the next day as well due to some earlier rainouts. So we had such a long day. We played a doubleheader the next day, and of course, there's 30 minutes in between games of a doubleheader, and of course, game 1 ends, and then it rains. And we had a 45-minute, 47-minute, or something like that delay in between games of the doubleheader before we started game 2. Played that, and then had a day game the next day. So it's a grind, and the weather has certainly wreaked havoc on our schedule all year long. And it's a credit to our players that have persevered through it, and they've been playing so well, and to be still in the playoff chase after all the stuff they've been through weather-wise, it's pretty remarkable.
We're talking to Ian Locke before we talk about the road trip they got coming up as well. One thing about Harbor Park, it's a multi-purpose facility. Not only do you have games there, you have a restaurant there. We mentioned there's always something to do for the fans, that something for everyone during the baseball games, promotions and so forth. But you also have activities. You mentioned former Tides. You had mentioned a Hall of Fame type thing for the Tidewater as well. So just talk about some of the events that Harbor Park has used during the off season as well.
Well, yeah, and we had an induction last week for the Tidewater Baseball Shrine where we inducted 4 local folks, Clint Hurdle, guys that had ties to the area. Clint Hurdle, who used to manage the Tides, Billy Swope, who was a scout in the area, Michael Kadire, who obviously had a great major league career, and Mike Cubbage, who had played with the Tides, managed the Tides, and is still a local scout in the area. So when you walk around the Harbor Park concourse, you can see a whole bunch of plaques around, and kind of just gives you a great story of the history of baseball in this area. But you mentioned other events at the ballpark. We're actually going to do something else here Saturday, September 1st, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. What we're trying out a fan fest where we're having people free admission, free parking, come on out, take batting practice on the field, run the bases, take photos. Riptide and Triton will be here. We'll have tours of the press box area and the locker rooms, and the best thing is it's free. So we're there from 10 a.m. To 2 p.m. on Saturday, September 1st. If anyone wants to come out and check that out, that's going to be a new thing for us. But I'm excited to throw some batting practice and catch some fly balls as well. So it'll be a fun day out at the park. But that's just another example of Harbor Park. We're doing everything we can to not just Tides games. We try and incorporate a whole lot of stuff, whether it be we've done concerts in the past and high school football games in the past, and I think we're doing a beer fest at some point this fall. So lots of different things going on around here to keep everyone busy.
I know Dave was not a big fan of the high school football. I know he went to the games, but he was always concerned about the field and the turf.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I meant another weekend in the fall to work, but it was weird too because I think the field was 99 yards. I don't think we had it was just short of 100 yards. So we had I think the 50-yard line was kind of invisible kind of thing, but. It's not suited. It works for football. It's not a football design facility. That's for sure. But we made it work, and they definitely saw some players over the years. I think Percy Harvin played here one time for a title game. So we definitely saw some guys come up through high school. But it's been a couple of years since we've done high school football, and selfishly, I'm good with that. We don't need to do any more here.
Yeah, they have enough places to play as well. Talking to Ian Locke right here. So, Ian, road trip coming up, and talk about the road trip.
Yep. So we're in Gwinnett, Georgia, playing the AAA team for the Atlanta Braves through Thursday. We actually have a morning game, 10:35 a.m. They're doing with school back. They're doing a school game in Georgia on Thursday, and then we wrap up our season with 4 games in Durham against the Durham Bulls, which is the probably the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays, and they're most likely, like I said, going to win the division. So a lot of tough games to close out, but it's kind of a weird time of year too. It's September 1st. That's when the rosters expand at the major league level. So players are getting called up, and there's a whole bunch of roster moves, and it's kind of one of the trickiest times of the year as a manager for Ron Johnson, our manager, to handle, because you got players coming down, players getting called up. There's all sorts of stuff. This is like the busiest roster time of the year, and you get September 1st call ups, and you got players that don't get called up, so they're not necessarily thrilled to be hanging out trying to play for a couple more days kind of thing. So he's got to manage some egos on that side, and still trying to make the playoffs. So it's a tricky thing, but he's done it in a long time. He's really good at it, and hopefully we can put together a couple wins and have some more baseball to be talking about next week. Yeah, very good. Talking to Ian Locke right here, and Ian, been a great year as well. We want to continue it, of course, depending on what the team does, and of course you got. We'll talk more during the hot stove next year, but you've got a big day coming up yourself personally in November. Yes, I managed to find someone who didn't mind settling a little bit, so I'm getting married in November, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to be a busy off season for me, planning that stuff, but really excited about it, and next step in my life. And Brittany is she's awesome. I'm thrilled to be marrying her, and like I said, I'm glad I found someone who was willing to settle. That's for sure. Very nice. Next week we'll talk more about the Major League Baseball postseason races as well too. All right, Ian, thank you. Leave us with social media like always. Yeah, so fans can track our playoff status and the games the last week of the season. They can follow us on Twitter at Norfolk Tides. They can also follow us on Instagram at Norfolk Tides and Snapchat as well. And then our Facebook page is facebook.com/Norfolk Tides, where we'll be posting updates throughout the week. And if anyone wants more information on the Fan Fest that we're having on Saturday, September 1st, check out our website, norfolktides.com. And we'll also have that on our social media as well. So hope fans can come out now and take some hacks on the field. And I think we're doing a thing. If anyone hits a hits a home run, they might be able to win some prizes. I think season tickets and stuff are on the table as well. So come on out, show us your skills, and we'd love to see you here in the fall.
Something on the table, since we still have tourists listening this Saturday, since they're still going through Virginia Beach. I want to ask this question out of respect to them as well. Had you guys ever thought about doing a reunion, trying to get one player from, let's say, 1969 through 2018 and do a Tides reunion sometime next year or the year after? Has that ever been talked about?
Yeah, we've tried to bring back some players in the past. I mean, it depends how depends on the player's schedule, and some players are more expensive than others that you're trying to get back. But this last week when we had the Tidewater Baseball Shrine, when we inducted Mike Cubbage and Clint Hurdle, Clint Hurdle couldn't be here. He's currently managing the Pittsburgh Pirates, which is an understandable reason to not be here. So we try and do things at least a couple times a year where we have some old players or some you've seen in the past, like celebrities and stuff too, that we have appearances here that'll sign autographs, and the Tidewater Shrine was one, and in the future I'm sure we're always open to having new players or old players come by and visit, and that's always a popular thing, and we're certainly going to look forward to that as we start building the 2019 promotional schedule.
All right, good luck with the rest of the road season. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Ian. Ian Locke right there from the Norfolk Tides as well. So you talk about what a great baseball season it's been. It's been a lot of fun for everyone. I want to thank our good friends at Outback in Kempsville. Go by and see Mike and the staff. They deliver spacious, nice dining area, bar, lunch, and dinner daily, 7 days a week. Excellent burgers, steaks, soups, salads, appetizers, seafood, pasta, chicken ribs, chops, and more. Great desserts, beverages, dine-in or carry-out. Like Outback Steakhouse on Facebook as well. Give them a call at 523-4832. Open 7 days a week. Go by and see Mike and the great staff at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. The best Outback Steakhouse in Virginia is the one in Kempsville. Stay tuned.
The best guests appear here on Sports Scene. Now back to Greg in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios.
And welcome back to Sports Scene. I want to thank our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News. Go by and see Paul and the wonderful staff. Great lunch, dinner, appetizers, salads, boneless traditional wings, great lunch menu, great rollout menu, excellent burgers, wraps, tenders, macs, kids menu as well. All the games on TV, wings, beer, sports, right there at Newport News next to Patrick Henry Mall at 12150 Jefferson Avenue. With GPS, it's so easy to find. Give them a call at 249-3999. Watch all the games on TV, NFL, college football, golf, tennis, baseball. It's all Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. Go by there for a great meal today. Let's welcome our monthly regular guest, Gina Ippolito from Smithfield VA Events. Gina, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. Right here at Front and Center. And Front and Center next month is your big event.
Yes, it is. And, I mean, it seems like it's far away because technically it's still August and our event is October 6th. But you're right. September's going to be here shortly, and then it'll roll over and be October before we know it.
Well, let's talk about it. Give us the location, of course, Windsor Castle Park, and give us all the times, the parking, and everything that goes along with it.
Well, this is our fall event. It is October 6th. It's always the first Saturday of the month, and it is the Smithfield VA Bacon, Bourbon, and Beach Music Festival. We've got a handful of tickets left. The event is held at Windsor Castle Park in downtown Smithfield. It's a historic riverfront site, so it's a beautiful setting for an event. We do about 3,200 people, so it's not super crowded. There's lots of space to spread out, and we're not quite sold out yet. You got a big group. I've got one party chalet left up in my beer village. I've got a handful of some sponsor tables, and I think I checked this morning, there's about 70 individual tickets still left for the event. So you can find out about the event and all of that online if you go to SmithfieldVAEvents.com and click on the Bacon Fest logo. It'll take you to all the info about the upcoming event.
Very nice, folks. You hear that right now. Give them a call. Make it happen. You got a Facebook page as well, correct? And
we do. It's Smithfield VA Bacon Bourbon Beach Music Fest on Facebook. If you're interested in that chalet and you're listening, you can just actually give me a call. My name is Gina, and my phone number is 757-869-0664. I'm really trying to get that sold this week because I've got to finalize everything with my tent company. So If you've got a big group or a business, we can do it as a group of friends. We can do it as a business sponsorship. But normally we don't have any left this late in the game, so I just have the one left. So got
Let's
a big group. Come have a good time.
All right, you tourists listening right now, Saturday morning, 869-0664. Make it happen. Go to the Smithfield VA events. Bacon is yum, yum, yum. And tell your friends, too, as well. So really there's something for everyone, but when it's stressed, this is for adults only.
Yeah, this is an adult-only event. You do have to be 21 and up. No babies, no pets. But it doesn't mean it's a great day. So come on out. It's right on the Pagan River, and it's a beautiful site, and it's going to be fabulous weather. I just know it.
Yeah, it's funny sometimes about the weather. Sometimes it can still be hot in October. I remember, I think the one way back in 2014 I went to, that was the first year, it was actually hot that day.
It was. It was pretty warm last year. I think we had about an 84-degree day last October. That's the one thing you never know about. So we're hoping it's a perfect fall day, and it's not too hot and it's not too cold. So that's the one thing we don't get to control. But either way, it's always a good time.
Yeah, the good thing about your events are you have 3, and you have time to process before the next one and get ready and try to learn what you did last year to make even this year's even better.
Yeah, it is. This is our 7th year to be holding events, and this will be, I think I'm right, I think this will be our 16th event. And we've learned something, we've made some changes from last year. I mean, last year wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but we've tweaked a few things. We're always looking to make things better for our festival attendees, and we're excited this time because we got to move into, over the summer, our new facilities out here. So we have moved our office to the site. We're located in what used to be known as the old caretaker house. And then the town reconstructed 2 barns that were part of the historic property out here that is housing all of our equipment and festival supplies. One of them we've deemed is called the Bacon Barn, which is where our new location where we'll actually, cook all 2,400 pounds of bacon and serve it to our fest attendees. So if you like bacon, you actually get 8 big, thick Smithfield bacon pieces. It's not like some of the other bacon fests that we have in the local area where you go and get weird little tastings from various food vendors. We actually give you a boat full of bacon, and you can eat it like it is, hot off the grill, or you can take it into the bacon condiment tent and turn it into a BLT or bacon nachos, or we've got sauces and dips you can shake on it. So bacon is one of the big featured things of the event. So, and then of course we have the bourbon, which we're working on getting our bourbon list up on the website. Currently, right now, you're still looking at last year's. We're still finalizing some things with ABC, but hopefully in the next couple weeks, before I talk to you next month, we'll have our bourbon list finalized and out there. And of course, we host also Virginia breweries at this one. So we've got O'Connor, Devil's Backbone, Smart Mouth, St. George, Ale Works, Bold Rock, Star Hill, and then they all bring out 4 different Virginia craft brews. So it's a great time. It's a wonderful day, and if you don't like bourbon or beer, we also do have wine available for sale. So there's a little something for everybody.
It's almost like a reunion of people in Hampton Roads, but you have tourists as well. So there's food, there's fellowship, there's fun and great scenery. Really just a nice overall treat, nice day.
Yeah, it is. It really is nice. And we have been just, not only this event, but even our other 2 events. We draw a huge amount of tourists to town on festival weekends. We will do, in fact, I don't even know that you can get a hotel room here. I think they're all booked up. The Hampton Inn had a few left about a week ago, but I have not checked with them this week to see what their status is. But we have a lot of people that roll into town on Friday, and they just spend the weekend in Smithfield. This particular event, there's a farmer's market downtown on Saturday morning. There's a kayak rental. There's the park itself has got some, great trails to walk on. And, you can stroll down Main Street and do shopping. There's great restaurants to eat at. And so a lot of people make it just a weekend of it and come all weekend. And then, again, I am astounded at how many people actually come here from out of the area. I would say probably about 10% of our crowd is not even in coastal Virginia. We draw a lot of people from Chesapeake and Virginia Beach and Williamsburg, but we also have people from Stanton, Charlottesville, Richmond, are our 3 big ones. And then we have a contingency from the Outer Banks who come up here also for our festival. So it's pretty cool.
Very nice. Leave us with all the social media and how people can contact you one more time and the date of the event.
The date of the event is October 6th, and the event time is from 11 to 5. VIPs do get in at 10 o'clock. The website to go to for all the information is smithfieldvaevents.com. And then for this event, you can click on the Bacon Fest logo, or you can click on the other two if you want to see what's going on with those. Our Facebook page for this event is Smithfield VA Bacon Bourbon Beach Music Fest. And again, if you want that chalet, you can either go to the website, my email is all over it, or you can give me a call at 757-869-0664.
Gina, we will see you there.
Okay, great. Thanks, Greg. You have a good day and a happy Labor Day weekend.
You too, Gina. Thank you so much. Gina Ippolito right there from Smithfield VA Events. And Joe Daniel, always a fun event. And like you said, you enjoy Windsor Castle Park yourself.
Yes, it's a beautiful park. It's a great location, open space. There's a little dog park or a pet park where animals can run there. There's even equipment there for kids, slides and obstacles that kids can play around. It's a really, really beautiful park, so it's a great location for such an awesome, fun event.
Very good. Sports Scene will continue.
It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
Sports Scene is online on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Saturday on the radio on 1010 AM, 100.1 FM, The Lighthouse, TuneIn.com, type in WPMH in the search bar. Become a favorite on TuneIn as well to listen on your phone or your computer. HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Locals and tourists depend on it. Bookmark it, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, as well as GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows of Sports Scene and other radio and TV, and HRSMHOF.com. Our question of the day presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News to our esteemed producer, Joe Daniel. Joe Daniel, what is the one food you won't eat and the one beverage you won't drink?
Ooh, beverage I won't drink. I don't know. There's a lot of beverage, above all, I will drink something over eating something. I just like drinking fluids, I guess. One food, to me, I'm not that picky of an eater. I guess if it's just too exotic for me. I know in certain cultures, they actually eat the embryo of an egg. That's something I won't do. I would never do something. So if it's too exotic, I won't touch something like that. I remember growing up, my mom would take a can of spinach, put it in a bowl, and microwave it, and have that as a snack. And I remember that spinach smell filling up the house. So that's something I would stay away from, absolutely. I do eat spinach leaves on my salad, but never out of a can. So that is probably one of the only foods that I would just, like normal foods, that I would just absolutely stay away from.
And how about drink?
I don't know if there is a drink.
How about an alcohol drink you won't drink?
Nah, I mean... if it tastes good, it's fine, and it seems like that's probably kind of where I'm at. It's just if it tastes good, I'm okay with that.
I got one for you: prune juice.
I would try it. I wouldn't just abstain from it just because of what it is, but I would taste it, and if it tastes fine, yeah, I would probably incorporate it into my diet.
My grandmother would say, "Drink a little prune juice and forget." So I can see why. All right, thank you very much. Also want to thank our good friends at Courtyard Hampton, 1917 Coliseum Drive in Hampton. Give them a call at 838-3300 for some great spacious rooms, excellent pool, excellent bistro, convenient to great restaurants in Hampton, a lot of tourist stuff as well. Courtyard Hampton, go by and see Mark and the friendly staff today in Hampton, Virginia.
Mark your calendar for October 18th through the 20th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church presents the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition, an indoor event inside the Hellenic Center. Enjoy Greek food, beverages, desserts, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. Located on 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on I-64 with free admission and parking. Log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you October 18th through 20th for the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition.
Opa! Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com studios.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene. I want to thank our good friends over at the Royal Chocolate every month right here on Sports Scene. Of course, Labor Day weekend. Let's welcome our regular Brenda Tusing. Brenda, we saw you on Channel 13 recently as well.
I know, I was doing a little thing with Cheryl Tan.
Yes.
Yeah. That's actually a couple years old, but it was fun. Cheryl's such a a wonderful person and really very supportive of small business, which is great.
Yeah, I like the fact that they show reruns. We do a lot of business with Channel 13. Unfortunately, I don't think that show is on anymore, but it's all good. Everything comes to an end, but one thing that does not come to an end is great chocolate. Talk about it.
Chocolate never ends.
It never melts.
It goes on forever.
Well, what's going on at the store right now?
Gosh, we're busy. I know you're familiar with Town Center, and we've had Williams-Sonoma and Pottery Barn opening right across the street from us. A lot of apartments starting to be moved into, so it has changed the dynamic of this end of our street dramatically, which we're happy about. But we have things going on here too. We actually have a really good special this week, all week long, that all of your listeners need to know about. Our gourmet apples, which are fabulous, are $2 off all week, a max of 4 at that discount. And we have punch cards where you can earn a free apple, and we're doing double punch in those punch cards all week for each apple as well. Really good special. People love when we put our apples at a discount, which we don't do very often. So great week to buy apples. Stock up for Labor Day. We are closed on Labor Day, so come in and get your chocolates early. And, we've got that going on. And you know what? We're starting to get deliveries for fall, Halloween. It feels crazy to me, but yet, as a retailer, I know it's time. Here comes Halloween.
I'm not going to even tell you the store where I saw some Christmas wrapping paper yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not quite ready for that.
Exactly. I'll say this for our listeners out there, a little Halloween trivia. You remember the young lady that played in Happy Days that passed away, Erin Moran?
Oh, yeah.
Her brother, speaking of Halloween, was the Shape, Michael Myers, in one of the Halloween horror movies. And
really?
Total opposite personalities, obviously, but, one was happy-go-lucky, the other was not exactly.
Not so much, yeah.
But,
well, I'm looking right now at a marshmallow spooky cat and some Halloween peeps, and, once we get into probably October, everything becomes pumpkin. But we do our pumpkin muffins, and I'll tell you the minute they're ready to go, because and people start asking us right about now, when are you getting your pumpkin muffins?
That sounds great.
And then we have a pumpkin fudge apple. We'll be all pumpkin-y here before too long.
Yeah.
But, it's the change in season is, it's such a mixed bag. You're a little bit, oh, gosh, summer's leaving us. We still do our frozen drink special through this week as well, the 2-for-1 happy hours on our frozen drinks, 2 to 4, Monday through Friday. But, it's winding down, and then you get excited about the change of season. So, it's just moving on.
Yeah, one thing I want to ask you about is chocolate, how it's evolved. It seems like back in the day, you just saw a lot of milk chocolate, peanut butter chocolate, and just like you mentioned, the different apples were the candy apple, the old traditional red. Now you got the chocolate. It seems like chocolate's evolved, and the fusions of different flavors and ingredients and toppings around the chocolate's evolved as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. It, actually, just a few years back, chocolate and heat, some sort of like a cayenne pepper or some kind of a heated element was added. We still do really well with those. And, of course, there was a huge infusion explosion of bacon in chocolate. And, again, we still have bacon in chocolate. But it's very much, I watch the good chocolatiers that we carry because, we carry so many chocolate bars. And also we make a lot of chocolate in the store. But you'll just see now you're seeing all of these interesting, like lavender and citrus and just herbs. Different. We have one out there that has, and I'm not sure if you pronounce it turmeric or turmeric. I'm not really sure. But some turmeric and ginger. So just interesting combinations.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not milk dark and white anymore.
I actually take turmeric. It's very nice. It's kind of.
I love this chocolate bar.
Yeah.
It's got a great flavor, very unique. We've had some great combinations. So it's not just about liking chocolate. Not everybody, but 99.9% of the population probably likes chocolate. But you come in and you have a great experience because. See, we have all of these chocolate bars available to be sampled. So you can come in and say, wow, that looks really interesting, but I don't know if I would like that. Hey, taste it, we're glad to have you try chocolate with us. So it becomes a real experience when you're in our store. You're not just going to walk in, pick something up, pay your money, and leave. You're going to really enjoy your visit in our store.
I mean, all the holidays are great, but it seems like 3 really stick out for chocolate and candy. That's Halloween, Valentine's, and of course, Easter as well.
Yeah, they're big, but Mother's Day we do so well, and the holidays, like for Christmas, we do really well because at that point in time we can ship. We deliver locally all the time, all year long, but we can ship when it cools off. So you can actually Christmas shop with us and arrange to have your shipping done with us as well. And corporately, we do a lot of that. People will bring us their list for corporate gift giving. Some of it's local, some of it has to be shipped. So we take care of all of that for you. We're kind of like one-stop shopping there. It's very convenient for people to shop with us at the holidays. And you can shop online with us as well.
Yeah, theroyalchocolate.com, open 7 days a week. That's one thing you and Terry have always done, is kept that store open 7 days a week.
We have. We do close. Now, we're closed for Labor Day. We close on the big holidays. And I'll tell you, at Christmas, we close early Christmas Eve, of course, and we close Christmas Day. And we usually close the 2 days after Christmas because as a small business, we don't have anybody telling us what to do except Terry and I.
Which is nice.
And we like that break for our staff, for ourselves, just that we work really, really hard. And it's just such a nice downtime. But normally, you're right, 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday, 12 to 5.
Yeah, I need to come back in there on Facebook Live again. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, come on back. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, it's been a while. We're doing the radio once a month.
What
I know.
doing?
I need to come back and get some good stuff there. Very well.
Do.
But
you've got to be out of chocolate. I know you don't eat as much chocolate, and I know you also use it as gifts. So
oh yeah, of course.
You must have somebody you need a gift for. Get in here.
Yes. And of course, theroyalchocolate.com. You're on Twitter, Instagram, and and the address right there, very convenient for everyone.
Yep, 164 Central Park Avenue, right here in the Virginia Beach Town Center.
All right, Brenda, we'll talk to you as it gets closer to Halloween next month.
All right. I won't be scared.
No, trick or treat. Very good. Thank you, Brenda. Hey, one thing, Brenda, about radio, there's never a bad hair day either.
Thank God.
Exactly. And no makeup is needed. All right.
No makeup? Oh, good. I could be here in my jammies. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. Have a wonderful afternoon.
All right. Thanks, Greg. You too.
Thank you. All right. Brenda Tusing right there from the Royal Chocolate, and Joe Daniel, of course. Sweets are what America loves. It's almost like you go to dinner, you have to have dessert, and you almost feel like, should I get dessert? Some people worry about it for the extra cost, but there's nothing like dessert.
Yeah, it is a treat. My kids love dessert. Every time they eat, they always ask for a dessert, and it's a nice, pun kind of intended. It is a nice cherry on the top, to have a meal and then just top it all off with a nice dessert. And then chocolate is, like she said, like so many people love chocolate. It's universal. It's a great treat for yourself. It's a great gift for other people. So yeah, absolutely.
I'll say this, I like my Hershey's bars and the Mr. Good bars, the Clark bars. But recently I was at a grocery store and I had a craving for chocolate. That Snickers bar looked me right in the face. And guess what? I ate it.
Yeah, you ate it real good.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Stay tuned for What Teased Me Off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
Want to thank our good friends at Panera. All items 100% clean, catering, they deliver great soups, sandwiches, salads, bagels, bread, smoothies. Go by and see the wonderful staff. For more, go to PaneraBread.com. Food as it should be, located at 6255 College Drive in Harborview in northern Suffolk. Open 7 days a week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Great snacks as well. Give them a call at 483-3670. Panera Bread. Excellent food 7 days a week. Let's get to our favorite segment, What Teased Me Off, Joe Daniel. This expression, you're fine, when you hear that expression saying, oh, you're fine.
Yeah, and I heard something along those same lines where it's just like, it's okay. It's not okay. That's why we're having this disagreement right now. It's not okay. I understand the sentiment. It's just like, let's just move on. But at the same time, people have a hard time saying an apology, actually saying an apology. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And someone else saying, you're forgiven. I think people have a hard time saying that. It's kind of awkward nowadays. And so that's why people just say, oh, you're fine. Oh, it's okay. It's not okay.
Right.
Don't say it's okay when I did something that is wrong and we're acknowledging that what I did was wrong. Say, you're forgiven. I'm sorry. You're forgiven.
Because if you don't resolve it, it'll linger to something else
Right.
and make it even worse. Good example is if something like you RSVP to something and you don't show up and don't call or text, that's why they have weddings and that's why they have them RSVP way in advance.
Right. If you do that, you're just a bailer. That's what you do. You bail.
Trying to scan out yourself at the checkout line for groceries and it doesn't catch after several attempts. Like you're scanning. Hello, ma'am. This is not scanning. It's not working.
Yeah, and the thing is with the self-checkout line, it only works when you have less than 10 items. What I don't like is when people show up with a near full shopping cart and they're self-checking. It's way faster to let someone else, a professional, more or less.
They do it for a living.
Yeah, exactly. They do this for a living. Let them do it if you have a full shopping cart. If you just run in and grab some juice, or you're in and you grab some chips and dip or something like that, yes, self-checkout line, scan, pay, and you're out. It's faster. But when you have produce and you have to weigh it, you have to search for it. What kind of avocado do you have? What kind of onion? Is it white, yellow, red? And it just is so time consuming. Let the professionals who know how to do it when you have produce. Don't go to the self-checkout line when you have an extensive amount of stuff.
You don't do that at the bank. There's no self-checkout line at the bank. I'll say this. I don't work for your grocery store. Pay me, then I'll do it. I will do 2 or 3 items, but there's nothing worse when I've got 5 items and the person that's saying 10 items or less has got 20.
Yeah, and that always seems to happen. There's the sign that says 10 items or less, express lane, and they show up with a full cart.
This is really awkward. These drive-through exchanges on the speaker, you have that automated, hey, welcome to so-and-so. Then you have the person who's, how can I help you? Basically, whether you have to say repeat, please, dropping change, not getting the receipt, food is wrong, or smaller portion, those drive-through window exchanges are very awkward.
It is, and recently I have seen in Starbucks at the drive-thru, they have a camera pointed toward the driver and a camera in-house in the subway, so you can actually see the person who's saying, how can I help you? What would you like? When the first time I saw that was very awkward.
That's when you have your baseball cap and sunglasses on. A certain Chick-fil-A kind of does that. Banks do that as well. It's like they don't want people involvement. It's almost like they have a recording to say hello now. Really?
Yeah.
You can't say hello?
Yeah, and exactly. I went to One Life, and every time you scan your membership card to get in, there's an automated voice that says, welcome. It's not the people who actually work there who are welcoming you. It's, like you said, a pre-recording, and it's so disingenuous.
A few quickies. Management at the job who are not on the same page, that can affect everyone if they don't get along.
Yeah, teamwork, more or less.
Old guard that only want their people in a position, or the good old boy network that you already know the door is closed for trying to get an audition or a job or, let's say, an appointment. You already know that so-and-so only wants his people in the right place. Lip sync challenges. I'm sorry, lip sync challenges. We're adults here, folks. Come on now.
It is pretty awkward, and I know that it took off with, I forget his name, Jimmy Fallon or something like that, but he had these lip syncs, and again, like you said, I don't understand it. I guess it's kind of goofy, it's kind of fun, but I don't get it.
There's a word called Lysol. Restaurants, please use it. Also, that stench in the room, that's why they have Lysol. Bathrooms, Joe Daniel, real quick. We have men's rooms, we have women's rooms, we get it. Have unisex rooms, solve the bathroom issues, and have one person at a time in a unisex room.
Yeah, and they have those family bathrooms, and recently I've been seeing those family restrooms come up. I was actually just at a restaurant the other day where they had 2 bathrooms, and they were both solo seaters, if you will, but it said on one door, ladies, gents, and on the other door it said gents, ladies.
Right.
So,
it's all good. Finally, a few things. Soggy tomatoes, at least through the buffet line. Try to make the tomatoes look presentable, not hiding underneath 50 other tomatoes that are just mushy. And also radio or TV hosts that are always right.
Yeah, I mean, you're not always right.
No.
Even though you may have the golden microphone, you're not always right.
You can disagree with your host as well. All right, that's what tees me off. I want to thank our great guests today, DJ Dozier, Ian Locke, Gina, Ippolito, and Brenda Tusing. For more, go to gjbtv.com, at Greg Bickle on Twitter, at GJB Radio on Twitter. For more, go to gjbtv.com in the contact section for all of my Twitter handles. Happy Labor Day weekend. We'll talk to you again next week. For Joe Daniel, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. We'll talk to you soon.